What's good with y'all? Hope y'all having a great day on One Breezy Family. Teacher confronted by cops after having sex with 11-year-old. Oh my God, what is up with these adults and having sexual relations with kids?
You know, you are going to be placed under arrest.
Me?
Mm-hmm. You're Allie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's going to be for predatory criminal sexual assault.
We have the newly released body camera video of the moment a substitute teacher is arrested for having sex with an 11-year-old boy.
You're taking my kids?
Allie Bardfield admitted to having sex with that boy and is now serving prison time. But she wasn't always honest in this investigation, and the body camera video proves that. I'll show you what she told detectives at her front door and how she blamed the
And my thing is, like, why do you have sex with an 11-year-old who's most likely not experienced when you could go date or go have sex with a grown-ass man who could probably give you the time that you're actually looking for? But then I'll be thinking, okay, so it's not about the performance. So what is it about? Well, I guess we finna see.
In this case, we're on the case, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
And like, what state of mind do you have to be in to do
Allie
this?
Bardfield entered a guilty plea for having sex with an 11-year-old student of hers. It is a shocking story. And what's even more shocking is how she tried to play it when detectives arrived at her front door. Before I get to that body camera video, here is Bardfield in court in Macon County, Illinois, where all of this took place about 3 hours south of Chicago. This is the hearing where Bardfield admitted to abusing her student who is just 11 years old. But Bardfield wasn't always truthful to law enforcement in this investigation. This is the body camera video of the day that she was arrested in April of last year. Now, part of the audio is redacted, which is why you'll hear it drop out at times.
Okay.
6:38.
We can't answer the door right now, but if you'd like to leave a message, do it now.
Hi. Hey, how are you? Hey, is Allie home? Yeah? Okay. Sheriff's Office, and I'm assisting the Mountain Police Department. How many kids are home? Three kids. Okay, just you guys and the kids. Okay.
And someone else.
Yeah, it's my brother. My brother. Is your brother.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the thing: we have a search warrant for the house. Okay. You know, you are going to be placed under arrest.
Me?
Mm-hmm. You're Allie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's going to be for predatory criminal sexual assault to grooming. Okay, so that's why we're here, to take a look, to make sure we gather what we need out of the house. Okay.
For what?
Yeah, so I'll talk to you more about it in a second.
know,
Okay. As a matter of fact, if you guys want to go in and start doing that,
Can I put the dogs up?
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
please.
We're gonna have to follow you in though, just to make sure. Okay. Do you have your phone? Yeah.
One's a German Shepherd, so
Okay. James, you want to stay here with me?
So you can see Bardfield acting confused and shocked as to why detectives
That's what I'm saying. They know what they did, bro.
are at her door accusing her of sexual abuse and grooming. This is going on around 4:30 in the afternoon on April 3rd, 2024. The day prior, detectives say an 11-year-old came to the police station with his parents saying Bardfield, his 6th grade teacher, sexually assaulted him. Bardfield worked in the Decatur, Illinois school system. She was considered a long-term substitute teacher for the 6th grade class. She gave off the fun teacher vibes on social media. Here she is on TikTok with a young girl. Now, hours before her arrest, police say the 11-year-old boy did an interview with a specialist to talk about the abuse. Deputies also collected a sexual assault kit from the victim. Now, here's more of what the detective told Bardfield at her front door when she was arrested.
I'm going to explain some things to you, okay? First off, I have to read your rights, okay, so that I can talk to you, okay? You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do will be used against you in court. You have the right to an attorney, and if you can't afford one will be appointed to represent you free of any cost to you. Do you understand
Yeah.
that? Okay. Have you ever been in trouble before?
Never.
Okay. I'm going to give you an opportunity to explain, but long story short is, okay, we've got a significant amount of evidence to include the conversation that you had with
According to the court documents we have, at her front door, Barfield denied having sex with the boy. The audio is redacted at that point, but you heard the detective say they had a considerable amount of evidence, including a conversation that Barfield had. Now, he's likely talking about the conversation Barfield had with the boy earlier that day, just hours before all of this happened, after his forensic interview. Police say that they and the boy's parents were listening in on a text, a voice call, and a FaceTime that Barfield had with the young boy. They say during those conversations, Barfield talked about birth control and pregnancy. She also told the boy to delete text messages, and then they moved on to a phone call. And during that call, Barfield told the boy that she could not get pregnant. She is talking with an 11-year-old. She is in her 30s. Now, police say on March 29th, 2024, Barfield had that 6th grade student, her victim, over to her house. It was for a play date. That child's mom noticed her son acting differently after the visit, though. According to police, the mom then checked her son's phone and social media, and when they talked more about what happened, the boy said that Barfield had sex with him. Not only did Barfield reportedly have sex with that boy, she also sent him $700 on Cash App. She bought him headphones that go for more than $400. She also sent nude photos to him on Snapchat. Here's the moment Barfield
you gotta be sick. It's just like, bro, why? There are grown ass men out here that okay, if you can't get pregnant, okay, it. I don't understand the point of going to an 11-year-old boy. Like, yo, he's 11. Like, dude, when you really like, I don't have any 11-year-olds in my family. Everybody's older than that. So it's like I can't even think in my head exactly what an 11-year-old looks like. But I know that ain't even at 11 years old, I don't even think I had went through puberty at that time. So it's just like, what's going on, dude? Like, y'all gotta, like, you got, what? I can't even put my mind around. I can't wrap my mind around why you would do something like this. It just doesn't make sense. Like, and then you're gonna send them money, send them nudes. Like, okay, well, maybe because I wasn't going through puberty at that time. I went through puberty at an older age. Maybe he's going through it now. Hey, that ain't none of my fucking business. But I'm just looking at it like, dude, regardless if he was going through it at that time, I mean, I could see if he was on some shit. Like, how do you even start this interaction? How do you even get to this point? Like, do y'all swap phone numbers? Like, how? Because even if he was trying to do it with you, that doesn't even make sense why he would be like looking at his substitute teacher in a sexual way like that. I mean, I know people do that in school, but it still ain't, that's not what should be happening. Even if he was doing that and showing interest, like, you 30, they said that she's 30 something. Why would you do this? You know how many people I used to have this teacher in school, and everybody thought she was bad. I ain't gonna lie. At that time, and when I was in school, yeah, she was bad. But I never imagined, me doing something with her. It's just not. That just never came to my mind. I want to do something with girls around my age. So it's just like, I don't even understand. Like, what? Even if people are having thoughts like that, why would you do this?
Led away after this story gets even more shocking.
I'm gonna talk to her real quick, and she'll be able to talk to me. No, I'll talk to you here about that. So that lady is with
Oh my God.
Listen, no, but listen. It doesn't mean she's taking your kids. Okay?
Make a nice time. Show us.
She has kids.
Secure out here.
We are going to give you know, how you raise your kids and what goes on.
Oh my God, you're my life.
I'm going to have you sit in the back because I want to be out of the wind and air. And I'm going to have you have a seat in this second vehicle here.
Showing registered 56 and a half, 10,300. OP revoked.
Which seat?
This up, right up here.
Just hope the OP has been served to him.
I've never seen him do that. Let the suspect get in the front seat. I've never seen that.
Here's the thing, okay? You work for Hope.
The chicken is the headline, but the cheese is the plot twist. The all-new 9.
Barfield then gets into a police vehicle to talk to detectives. The audio is redacted, but according to court documents that we have, this is what she said. At first, she once again denied having sex with the boy, but then the detective said he had seen the nude pictures that she sent the boy on Snapchat. And when asked why she would...
Ali entered my squad car on the front passenger seat and sat down. Deputy James followed us and he had a seat in the backseat while I sat in the driver's seat. I then confirmed with Ali that she worked at Hope Academy as a substitute teacher, to which she agreed. I advised Ali that we wanted to know what led to all this. I then asked Ali if there were more kids that would come out and say she did things, to which she replied, absolutely not. Ali then denied having sex with whatever his name is. I then informed Ali that we had looked at the phone and she sent I'm assuming that's the number, sent however many nudes of herself, and he had sent her nudes of himself. Oh, wow. So he sent them back. Damn. I didn't ask why she had sent some blank nudes. Ali paused and stated, well, I want to know what she said, but I didn't reply, okay, doing what she stated. He kept asking and asking and asking and wouldn't leave me alone. This, oh my God. Y'all got to stop using this excuse. Well, they kept asking me. You know, when we watch some predator videos, the be grown ass man talking about something. Oh, well, she kept telling me to come over. That's if somebody tell you, oh, please kill him. Oh, please kill him. Do you feel like you have to do it? Nigga, no, you know you finna go to prison for that. You ain't finna do it. But I'm like, okay. I then asked her if she meant that he kept bugging her by asking her, and she said yes. Then I asked why he had sent her pictures of his, and she said she didn't know. I then asked if anyone else knew that this had happened, and she said no. I asked Ali how blank had her phone number, and she said that all of her students have her phone number because she puts on the board. I have never in my life seen no substitute teacher do that, because I'm just saying substitute because that's what they said in the video. I don't know no teacher's number, substitute or not. Ali told me that blank had spent the night 2 times at her. Oh my God. The nigga spent the night at her house? What kid do? Even if the kid got some shit going on at home with his parents and he's like, okay, I feel like I just need to get away from them, get to a safe space. It ain't no substitute teacher's house. Like, what's going on in the world? Ali advised me that blank sleeps on the couch. Ali admitted that blank was present on Friday. Ali identified herself being present when blank was there. Ali said that her husband was at work at the time and had left for work at 7. Can you imagine that your wife cheat on you with an 11-year-old? Imagine you paying all the bills, you taking care of I don't know what he's doing. I'm just putting this out there. Imagine you doing all this shit, taking care of the house, raising the kids, you taking care of her too, and she gonna cheat on your ass with somebody that might be the age of your children?
Send nude photographs, a teacher in her 30s, to a boy just 11 years old. She said, quote, he kept asking and asking and asking and wouldn't leave me alone. The document also states that the victim had sent the...
Hold on, no, because if you got a husband, how the is a kid staying at the house? He should have something to say about that.
Teacher explicit pictures. Well, if you ever notice how some habits just sneak into your day without you even realizing it, for award-winning paper, very scintillating, and one that further time the scandals are laying out from on your screen. See the moments in this conversation inside the cruiser that police are laying out the evidence they have against her, and you can see her put her head in her hands as she realizes what her fate is likely going to be. It is notable that Barfield tried multiple times to say that the boy made advances on her, that all of this was the 11-year-old's fault. At the end of this part of the conversation, Barfield, according to court documents, was asked about how she was feeling. And she replies, quote, I have my criminal justice degree. I'm in my master's program. This isn't how I want my life to be, but I didn't want the victim to feel uncomfortable as I felt uncomfortable, but I was just trying to act like nothing happened and just be there for him. At the end of the conversation in the cruiser, police say that Bardfield threatened to take her own life. She was then handcuffed and taken to the county jail. And from that moment on, Bardfield was held without bond. Per WAND-TV, here's the moment the judge at her first court appearance told her what the punishment could be for the charges that she faced.
It's a Class X felony, punishable by 6 to 60 years in the Department of Corrections. That will be served at 85%, followed by a mandatory supervised release of 3 years up to natural life and up to a $25,000 fine. It is not a probation eligible offense. And if convicted, you would have to register as a sex offender for the rest of your natural life.
Yeah.
Then in August of this year, Bardfield pleaded guilty to having sex with that boy. The state is now asking for a max 40 years in prison in this plea deal, opposed to the 60 years that she could have faced if found.
And I'm not saying like 40 years, like, nigga, why that's so much? No, I'm looking at it like, nigga, I'm thinking about myself being in that courtroom, not for this type of shit. But I'm just saying, myself being in that courtroom, being sentenced to 40 years in prison, like, bro, can you imagine? I'm 25 right now. I've been drinking. That 40 years, we're looking at what, 65 years? 65 years old when I get out of prison? Your life is gone. All your dreams that you had, gone. Everything, like, if you had a kid, raising your kid, gone. Your kid gonna be 40 when they get out. Well, not 40, but they're going to be 40 years older. Like, it's just like, you have to really, I feel like I'm learning this too, but I like to preach in my videos to people, please God, like, think about the decisions you make before you make them. Ain't no way an 11-year-old is forcing you to f them. There's no way. There's no way that there's going to be a 12-year-old, 13-year-old girl out here pressing me to have sex with her. Are you crazy? And I would never even be in contact with it. Like, what are we in contact for? I understand your job. You a teacher, so you got to interact with the kids, and you probably interact with kids so much that you want some stuff that, like, you know, like, I know that they go through stuff too. I want to be there for them. That is completely fine. But I feel like there is a line where you gotta, you know, cut that off, because at the end of the day, I feel like that's work. You know, that at the end, you gotta cut that off. Bro.
Guilty at trial. As far as the Decatur Public School District, where Bardfield worked, I reached out for comment in the wake of her guilty plea. They told me since they weren't a party in that criminal case, they wouldn't comment. They did fire Bardfield after her arrest. The victim and his family, though, are suing the school district, and they claim what happened was not an isolated incident. I spoke to a Sim Cunningham, who's representing the family, and this is what he said about his lawsuit.
What they really, really want to take place, though, is that other kids and other families who may have been a victim of this woman's acts to feel confident that if they come forward, that we can, you know, hold the school district accountable for the lack of supervision that resulted in Ms. Bardfield being able to commit these acts.
And does the family believe that there are more victims of Allie Bardfield?
I can't speak for the family.
1 second, y'all.
I can't speak for the family directly. There has been information that has come to light, some of which has been put into the complaint against the school district, that leads us to believe that there may be more victims of Miss Bardfield, and there are likely more victims of abuse and harassment by faculty in the Decatur public school system against students.
When Bardfield was arrested, she said, according to court documents, that no other people would be coming forward saying that she sexually abused them. It's important to remember when she was confronted with these allegations, it wasn't until detectives laid out their evidence that she admitted what she was saying originally was a lie. She'll be sentenced on September 25th. Joining us now to talk about this is prosecutor.
Bro, so you mean to tell me it could be multiple kids that she did sexual things with? Like, dude, you got to just be on some shit to be moving like this.
Former Deputy Attorney General of Ohio, Mark Weaver, thank you as always for being with us on Law and Crime. If you were a prosecutor on this case and you watched that body cam video of Allie Bardfield, what would stand out to you?
Well, it's very good body cam footage. We can see exactly what happened. The sheriff's deputies were extremely professional in the way they executed the search warrant. She gave it up pretty quickly. She told the truth pretty quickly. Initially, she denied having sex with this child, but pretty soon when they let her know that they had recorded calls, they had text messages, there's a great case here. I wish all of the sex cases that I prosecute had as much evidence as this one. This is a pretty airtight case.
Because when you look at, she'll be sentenced later this month, and in the beginning, and we watch it now in hindsight, knowing the evidence that prosecutors and detectives had in this case, and there was a lot. And she initially is like, well, I've never been in trouble. I'm like, my house, me, and then she, after that, seems to almost blame the victim a bit, saying that he was the one who wanted explicit messages, which is like, we're talking about an 11-year-old. It's so hard to wrap your mind around. How could those statements made back in 2024 impact how a judge goes forward with whether accepting this plea deal and giving her the maximum, which I believe the state is asking for 40 years?
Yeah, the top end is 40 years. It could have been 60 years, depending on whether some of these counts would have merged and how many different.
The thing is, I feel like we watch videos where somebody will kill somebody and get sentenced for less. So I'm like, I understand this is a crazy ass crime too, but I'm just looking at it like 40 years or 60 years. This is something, because it could definitely somebody's lives. But I'm asking, like, why don't the people that be killing people and are literally taking somebody's life? You don't know who that person could have been. That person could have been like just somebody that could change their whole family's trajectory, their whole family's timeline, change everything for their family, and they killed them. But it's like they'll get probably like, I don't know, 10, 20 years. I don't really get that.
Sexual encounters there were. A jury would have hated her when they found out that she essentially claimed that this child, this 11-year-old little boy, a 6th grader, was somehow the instigator. A judge won't like that either. I'm going to guess that her defense lawyer is going to coach her up ahead of the sentencing, have her come in there and reel back in any notion that this was the child's fault. But this is what we see with some of these sex predators. They don't see that what they're doing is wrong. They're just acting out their fantasies. They're being the person they want to be.
No.
And mind you, she's got a degree in criminal justice and is working on a master's degree. So the notion that she doesn't know somehow that this is illegal is preposterous.
It really is, and preposterous is a good word.
You ain't got to have no degree, no, this is illegal.
Because just reading through the court documents and the affidavit, and you see some of the statements she's making, and you're just like, what planet are you living on? And frankly, just hearing it, like, and even the line where she talked about having a criminal justice degree, and she's like, I just wanted to make him feel comfortable, or something on those lines, and you're like, what is, just as far as not from the legal standpoint, you're like, what are you talking about? When it comes to that hearing, and if she does give this emotional, statement in front of the court, how could that impact what the judge decides? Because often, I see those hearings and the judge, it looks like he looks over something for maybe a couple minutes and then makes his decision. Is there what impact could a statement from her, even if it's really good, have on what her sentence could be?
I've been in front of a lot of judges sentencing a lot of sex offenders over the years. And these judges typically come into the sentencing hearing with their mind made up. They have written out the words they have to say in order to make sure that the sentence sticks. And occasionally something a victim says or something the defendant says, you'll see the judge adjust it, reach over with a pen and maybe scratch something out or maybe fill in a blank. But most judges are ready with an idea of what they want to do before they even set foot, and then only in these marginal cases do they change it. Judges are also really good at seeing through sort of courtroom conversions, right? When you read what she said she admitted to, and when you watch the footage of the warrant call the police did, that's when you see the real person. The person in court has been, properly dressed and properly coached and is reading from a script. Good judges know that the way the defendant appears in court is often a put on.
So she'll end up, 20 years off of what she could have received as the max if she was found guilty if she took this to trial. I mean, just reading through the court documents of all the evidence, I mean, just even extending explicit pictures, which police have, to an 11-year-old boy, why make a deal when it seems like you would have had her dead to rights if you were a prosecutor?
In nearly every case where a prosecutor pleads a child sex case out, it's two basic reasons. One is certainty of conviction, which I think would have been present here anyway, but more importantly, not making an 11, he's probably 12-year-old boy soon, sit in a witness stand in front of a bunch of strangers and say what happened in the most embarrassing thing in his life. You're always trying to protect the child from re-victimization. And that's a key thing. This woman is not going to get 40 years. And I'm not suggesting what she did was good. I've prosecuted all sorts of people who molested children all the way down to as young as 2 years old. And given this circumstance, the judge will not send her for 40. She will get 10 or 15. I don't know the judge. But that would be more typical for a one victim child sex offender like this woman.
Even if it's one where
10 or 15 years is still a long ass time. You gotta realize, she said she's 30, so she gonna get out in what, like 40, 45 years old? Somewhere around there.
Because I'm sure for people, I mean, that's what it's been reported, that it was like a max of 40 years. And then if a judge goes down to 10, I mean, what impact could the fact that she was a teacher, you know, she's given this position of power to, you know, and anybody who is an adult who's accused of these crimes or convicted of these crimes, I mean, they had a position of power over a child. But I mean, she was an educator. She did it. How does that factor into how some of these cases play out in terms of the sentencing?
Yeah, Chris, I want to be clear. I'm certainly hoping she gets a longer sentence. I've just observed enough of these over the years, and the judges have as well. I prosecuted a child sex offender a year or two ago who had sex with his girlfriend's young daughter every day over several months, 7 days a week over several months. And he got 32 years, 34 years. I'm just comparing that there are degrees of sex offenders out there, but your point is well taken. Somebody who has sex with an 11-year-old should go to prison, and a teacher who has sex with an 11-year-old should go to prison for even longer. She has a special responsibility to not victimize these children who the parents placed in her care.
Right, and that's the part of it too, where it just seems like it's this facade almost. She's a teacher, and then, you know, there was this play date because she had children in her house. It's so hard to comprehend, especially when it's a teacher or someone like that. And I had great teachers. I mean, I think we all have. But then there's just so many of these cases that come up. In your career, what have you seen as far as trying to understand why some of these people will cross a line and frankly blast right past through a line where they're a teacher and then suddenly they're in a situation like Allie Bardfield is?
Part of it is technology. Evil has always been with us since the fall of mankind. So evil's always been around, but the technology allows that evil to permeate in a way it didn't 50 years ago. So when I was a kid, or when you were a kid, a big moment would be running into your teacher at the grocery store. Like that would be the contact you have. You'd see the teacher in school, and then once in a while you'd see him out in the real world. Now with Snapchat, which she said she was using, and all these other social media devices, and parents who give young children phones and let them take them into the room and close the door, there is a pathway for this evil to take its.
And this is exactly why, when my kid grows up and is at that age where he can have a phone, I'm going to be checking that motherfucker. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I remember when my mom was checking my phone she was checking my phone probably like weekly. I don't know if I'll do it weekly because I really want to give my child, like, you know, his space, but like, bro, it's like, I feel like I raised you well enough. And at the end of the day, you never know what direction your child's going to go. And you raise them well, they might go in a whole different direction. But I feel like I raised you well enough so you're just at the point where you know what you're doing is right or wrong. You know, so I'm going to trust you, bro. Because I feel like you can handle yourself. But at the same time, I don't trust other people outside. You feel me? Seeing like this lady, I don't know her. she chose to have sex with an 11-year-old. I need to check your phone to see if you got any type of contacts with anything. And even if, look, I would talk to my kid like, bro, like, why was you doing this? Because I would tell them originally, like, look, you don't need to be doing nothing with no girls over, I don't know, if you 13. Well, I mean, 17 is the age. I mean, well, 17, that's the max you can go. You ain't having sex with no 18-year-old. And if you do, we going to have a talk about that shit. I'm going to tell them, like, that's not right. Don't do that. But it's just like, you know, I just feel like, people got to check their kids' phones. And even that might not be enough. You check your kid's phone. Because I remember at a certain time, my mom told me I couldn't have Instagram. And I would just delete that shit every single time she about to check my phone. She might do a surprise check, but like, I would just delete my shit. I'll just delete that shit before she even see it. So I know that's capable of happening. Like, my child might do that. But it's like, man, I mean, I just feel like as a parent, you got to do whatever you can to like make sure your child is going in the right direction. And not be no helicopter parent, like you're not letting them do nothing, because I guarantee you don't let them do nothing, they gonna try even harder to do the shit that you're telling them that they can't do. So, you know, it's I don't know. Like, you gotta just try your best to try your best to make that work, but you never know how it might turn out. I'm just saying what I'm doing. I'm checking my child's phone. Oh God.
Path towards molesting a child. And then all you have to do is come up with a reason. Let's have a play date, or I'm going to go drive this child somewhere, or I'm going to invite them over. So technology doesn't cause it, but technology allows it to happen in a way that wasn't true 50 years ago.
Because it stood out to me too in the court documents that we have, where she said that she put her phone number up on the wall at school for the 6th graders. And that felt like,
I'm gonna be real, y'all. I feel like since we already know what happened, I don't really want to keep watching this, but I always feel like when I react to videos that I don't like when people cut the video short, I'm gonna keep watching this for y'all.
Something of crossing a line, where it's like I could see her giving her phone number to parents, but then giving all these 11-year-olds your phone number, and then she's on Snapchat and on TikTok and on all these different apps.
I've never heard
seemed
of
like
that.
It was, you know, for a teacher, that was a major crossing of the line. There's a civil lawsuit that's playing out right now from the victim's family to the school district. But from a criminal aspect, if, say, a civil suit finds that certain things were not done by the school, they haven't had comment on either the civil or criminal case. But what type of investigation is typically done of a school district after a teacher like this is found guilty to make sure that there isn't some systemic issue within that school district where this could happen more?
Two primary ways of holding schools accountable. Number one is through the civil lawsuit process, where they're going to have to pay money for if they were found to be negligent. And number two is the regulatory process. Whatever Illinois does to regulate schools like this, that ability to take away their school license exists. Rarely is anybody at a school charged criminally for an act that they did not know about. If this school had policies saying don't do this, if it had training, and now there's some indication she might not have taken the training, but if they had training saying don't do this, that is typically enough to keep a school from being criminally charged. As a prosecutor, I'm not interested in what the school did unless one of those administrators knew and then didn't tell law enforcement. Then I'm very interested in talking to that person and potentially charging that person.
And in your career, when you've had to prosecute sex cases like this with sexual predators, because I think in our mind, when we think of a sexual predator, there's probably a stereotype that comes in of a man mostly doing it. But then in some of these cases with teachers, you see, in her case, she's in her 30s. She's a young woman who's teaching in school. I mean, have you seen a profile? How does the profile vary of the predators in these cases, maybe beyond the stereotype that has been out there for a long time of when someone thinks of what a sexual predator actually looks like?
Yeah, there's not a profile that's going to help parents at all, but you are right that there are instances of we call them good guy predators, people who are otherwise nice and kind to your children, people who were involved in your child's life in a positive way on the one side, maybe showing up at their games and cheering them on or whatever, or giving them a high five when they get a good grade on the way out of the classroom. But on the other side, they're taking advantage and victimizing the child. And so parents just need to protect their children. That means
I feel like the father should be very involved because I just feel like predators be. I'm not saying they're targeting people that like fathers don't be involved, but it's a whole nother dynamic when I don't know. Like I just feel like the father got to be involved in a way where it's like, you know, because he's the primary protector. Like the mom is protecting him too, but you got to realize I feel like the dad, he's protecting his kids and the mom. You know, I just feel like if a predator were to see that, I ain't gonna say they're gonna back down completely, but once they see that, it's like an actual man. Because you know, people act differently with men and women. They might be able to get over with, oh, that's just a single mom. Oh, I'm gonna try to get at their kid, opposed to, oh, you know, I see the man's involved, the father's involved. You know, he in the gym, so you see him and you're like, oh yeah, I'm not even gonna mess with that. You go to somebody else where you just feel like it might be easier. I feel like both parents got to be very involved, but the father primarily.
Means knowing what they're doing, and enforcing this is one of my rules. No adult can be talking to my child without me knowing that topic of conversation. And so this notion that, hey kids, here's my phone number, call me directly, that's inappropriate.
And what is it like for you? And I mean, you having prosecuted one of these cases recently, I think of a plea hearing day where, you know, as a prosecutor, a lot of the work, it feels like it's been done. You were able to get a conviction. She's pleading guilty. She's going to go to jail for years. But what is it emotionally like for you waiting to hear what a judge is going to say as far as what that sentence is going to be?
Every time this has happened to me, I really feel for the victims. I meet with them before the hearing and almost always after the hearing. My heart goes out to them. So many people say to me, Mark, how can you prosecute these cases? They're so difficult. They're so tragic. It's because of the victims. It's because someone needs to stand up for them. And so on the day of sentencing, when I know I've already done my job, I might have already prepared my remarks. In some cases, I might be reading the victim statement, or the victim might be reading the victim statement. So I'm certainly interested in what the judge is going to do, but I'm most interested in the victims being comfortable in the courtroom, having their day to say what they want to say, and then getting some small amount of closure.
Knowing that they did have the digital evidence of the conversation she had, the statements that she was even making, I mean, she admitted to it to law enforcement eventually, and then you have the nude photographs that were sent through Snapchat. Had this gone to trial, do you need to have the 11-year-old testify, or would there have been a way to get the conviction without having to put the boy on the stand?
Her admission makes a big difference, right? Because if she had not admitted it and said that they had sex, it would be much harder to prove. You would need him. Here's my problem, though. I have seen juries go sideways for the dumbest things, right? And so they only need one juror. The defense only needs one juror to say not guilty, and the case hangs, and we start all the way over back at square one. And so I worry that one juror sits back there and says, how come we never heard from the kid? Where was that kid? And there's a way to explain it, you know, when you have your victim's advocate on the stand or your investigating officer, you ask them, what's the protocol so you don't re-victimize children?
See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all can't just be having anybody on the just doing f***ing jury duty, because y'all got motherfuckers out there f***ing crazy. Like, in this situation, I mean, they said that she sent him news too. The nigga was staying at her house. It's just like, I mean, I'm not saying they didn't have sex, but I mean, it's a lot of things. I mean, I feel like you staying at your I mean, it really just depends on the situation. But I mean, yeah, I know I keep saying parents, teachers want to be there for their kids, but I just feel like there's a line regardless of what that kid's going through. I'm not going to be doing certain things, or maybe if I do, I'm gonna have to go through the school first and let them know that this is happening. I'm like, yo, I'm really, like, this kid has been telling me this. Maybe they could come and stay in my house because something is going out their house that should not be going on. But I feel like if I was to say that, you know, maybe like the police would handle that, or DCFS, like somebody gonna handle that before I have to. So I'm like, I mean, if a jury was to get on the stand, I mean, if a jury was to be like, oh, well, we need to talk to the kid first, I'm like, bro, I don't know what y'all need to talk to the kid for. She just confessed to having sex with the kid and was sending news to it. The kid was staying at her house. It's like a lot of that's like, yo, just pointing straight to her doing that.
May want to see that. But I think the larger concern here is that a judge is probably not going to give her 40 years. So the notion of pleading it and then taking off 60 down to 40, she's not going to get 40 years. It kept it well within the range of what the prosecutor would like to get anyway.
And then just lastly, Mark, because we do cover a lot of these stories with teachers who are accused and in cases convicted of sexual misconduct with children. And it would be easy to look at the media reports and say it's just happening more. Is this something that you feel like you're seeing more of, or is it just a case we're learning about it more?
A little bit of both. We are seeing more of it because technology, as I mentioned before, allows teachers and students to privately talk to one another in what they think is a non-monitored setting. And then the other one is that it probably is happening a little bit more just because the mores of society is do what feels good, and whatever makes you feel good. Love is love, no matter what. That attitude, when taken to its extreme, brings us to situations like this. I'm sure she didn't think she was perpetrating an act of violence. I'm sure she thought it was a very loving encounter. It wasn't. It was molestation. But in her mind, I'm sure she thought she was doing something that was perfectly okay, notwithstanding the fact that she has a degree in criminal justice and the law says it's illegal.
And we had covered this story before. I had not read the part yet that she had a degree in criminal justice, which made this even more hard to make it more shocking than it already was. But that's definitely part of it. Mark Weaver, it's always great to have you on Law and Crime. Thanks for helping break this down for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
That will do it for us.
Boy, look, if you, bro, it's getting bad with these teachers out here. I've been seeing a lot of these same videos. I just don't watch them. Maybe I should start though, but I see a lot of these videos where it's female teachers having sex with underage kids, and I don't understand that. I'm not saying that we lost. I just stopped watching the Predator videos because I don't want no more. You know, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. I want you to push my shit, so I stopped watching that. But it's like we know it's a lot of men out there doing it too. But it's just like, bro, like y'all got to stop that shit. There's grown ass adults out here that can give you a better time than a kid. I don't understand.